portal player of the year in this league, if not the country. 15,564 on hand at the XL Center, and we're underway. Our officials today: James Breeding, John Gaffney, Tony Chiazza. Inside, Klingon, count it.
That constant motion, Tim, the misdirection, if you will. You take your eyes off of Klingon slipping to the basket, and this team is so willing to make the extra pass, UConn.
Joplin, they need a big game from him today. Oh, the iron kind to open, and we're tied at a deuce.
It's not a UConn team that is going to change what they do on the ball defensively. They're going to man up. It's going to be one-on-one. Marquette's going to have to find ways like that to take advantage of those matchups.
Beautiful cut by Caravan, and the feed from Newton.
Communication so important when you're on the road, and I know it's early in the game. It's loud in this building, but you have to point and talk and make sure your teammates hear you defensively.
There it is! Hello! How do you do? Iguodaro from the Player of the Year a season ago. You'll see a lot of that. Castle getting his first taste of Marquette. What a freshman he's been. Inside Klingon, and he's fouled. Got a little help that time. But the crisp passing into the post area really evident early in this game for both sides.
Unselfishness is what defines both of these teams. This is just awesome kind of misdirection. You got to stay awake on the ball, maybe more ball pressure, hands up, and then here, drop coverage. We've talked about how good Klingon is with Zach Edey and those two guys being head and shoulders above anyone else in their drop coverage, meaning how they play that pick and roll. Well, you got to get there quicker if you're Klingon.
The kid from nearby Bristol, whose mom was a incredible talent herself and passed away a few years ago. A homespun star that is sure to be felt throughout the course of this day by Marquette.
And this is how Iguodaro is just so unique. He can start their offense. He initiates a lot of that. And at times he puts the big on the other team in a tough spot.
Kolek from three. Spencer with the tap out. Newton with numbers. Waited for the trailer Caravan. Off the heel. Pulled down by Jones.
Marquette dodged the bullet there. Got to find guys.
Oh, Can with a blow-by. Spencer a little late getting over.
The on-ball defense is going to be so important for Spencer and Caravan in particular, because the guys they're guarding are strong and quick.
Newton inside Klingon. That's easy. That is a huge advantage they have size-wise. Marquette not known for its interior. Iguodaro has improved in that area. Precious little help, however. That one doesn't fall. Iguodaro may have gotten away with a bit of a push. Kolek going to blow by in traffic. Sends it out to the three-point line. Look at that work defensively by Castle. On the tap out, Spencer going for it. Joplin comes away with it. Numbers. Great defensive play by Newton. He just stayed with it. Stevie Mitchell, another guy they need to play big today. And that teardrop falls short. And on the takeaway, will be called for the foul. Six field goals, all told, all in the paint. You look at Shaka Smart, now in his third year. AP Coach of the Year a season ago. What a remarkable job he's done. And much like Danny Hurley, has created a culture in a short span of time. in Milwaukee.
And creates it without the transfer portal. That's what makes Shaka Smart and this Marquette team so unique.
Kessel, he likes that spot. Off the heel. And a quick rebound from Cam Jones. He's been money. He's a great rebounding guard. Kolek. When he gets to his left, forget about it.
And he can get there to that strong hand with the best of them. But in a game like this, officials are looking at hands slapping down. You got to be strong with your body. They're going to let some contact when it comes to physicality in the body. Just can't reach.
Kessel working on Kolek. That ball was deflected. Iguodaro got a hand on it. And the first live ball turnover comes Marquette's way. Look at that hesitation. In traffic, he gives it up. On the wing, Jones. He needs to make those today. They need Jones and Mitchell to be money from deep. Joplin as well at the 4 spot. Great work by Kessel on the defensive end. Knocked away by Klingon. What a fast-paced start to this game.
Constant pursuit of the basketball. Neither side ever stopped.
Dan Hurley said even early last year, you better get us now because we're going to be ungettable soon. There's a lot of confidence from both of these coaches. They've combined for 7 of 9 shooting in the paint, 0 for 8 outside the paint. Iguodaro. Yeah. He loves that little soft move right to the nail.
It's a unique perspective for Klingon because you're not used to a big moving like that with the ball in his hand. An interesting matchup to watch the rest of the day.
And you'll see Samson Johnson getting a lot of help because once Iguodaro's got you out there, you may need quicker feet. And coming from the backside, that one's rejected. Crowd wanted a foul, did not get it. Cleaning out, Samson Johnson checks in.
Yeah, this is nice. Change of direction. We never talk about bigs being two-way players. Nice little floater, then also coming from behind with the block on defense.
I think it's evident that they're letting him play early on. Only 5 to shoot. Caravan. Newton rebounding from the guard position, but that pass a little low off of the instep of Caravan, and it belongs to Marquette.
And it's a turnover, but it shows you the pressure that UConn keeps on you because just because they get an offensive rebound doesn't mean they're going to set their offense again. They're trying to find someone open and trying to score, even more importantly from three-point range. That's when you have those open shots.
It'll stop and go. Marquette going to its bench. How about that? A rebound when you're on the seat of your pants. Chase Ross just into the game. Had that one fall right in his lap. Wisely didn't move with it.
But Timmy, I don't know how this is a jump ball. If I put my knee in your gut as you're on the ground, I would think I'm calling a foul on you. I mean, Johnson's just, that is a scrum.
Yeah, letting them play might be an understatement.
Wow.
Kolek pops out. All begins with him. Got it up on the rim. That's a great block out by Johnson. Look at Kolek. Never stops working to tap it out. And a steal from Tristan Newton. Numbers 3 on 2. Spencer. This crowd will tell you everything today.
A little bit different matchup there with Samson Johnson on Iguodaro. A little bit more athleticism. Not going to be able to get those quick floaters off as easy as you would against Klingon.
Piero also in the game. And a foul on the mismatch after the switch as Chase Ross was in trouble with Samson Johnson and committed the foul.
Talk about how efficient UConn is offensively, but a lot of that comes from their defense, and that's what creates it. They give each other some nice space. You got the right guy handling the ball, and you have playmakers, not just guys who are going to catch and shoot. They're going to catch it, read the D, put it down like Cam Spencer did there, create a little space for himself and knock it down.
That's a great find by Castle into the corner to Vieira. How good of a find was that by Castle? Ross right back at you to Jones. Count the basket. And you know what? He didn't need to do that. He got his hand into that cylinder area. That was going to be a miss. He had altered the shot already.
I like it, though. I know it's 2 points for Marquette, but if I'm UConn, I like that intensity. I like that now Samson Johnson, the thought of him being around, already contested one Iguodaro floater, and then goes up and contests a shot they call. Who knows? We've seen that call just be a call that they don't call at all, and you keep playing. So the activity, I think, is what's most important for UConn in transition defensively against Marquette early.
Well, you're an old soccer player. Kolik just gave you the left footer.
I like it.
Side out. Yep. UConn.
Corner kick.
Yep. And ready for the throw-in, Stefan Kessel. Your sports glossary's out to follow us today.
I think that's the next part of his game when he comes off to catch and attack instead of the catch and survey for Castle.
Well, Jones got a little too physical with Spencer. Shaka took exception to James Breedy's call. That's number 2 on Cam. So he's going to have to go to his bench quickly and get Stevie Mitchell back into the game.
And Cam Jones, one of those, I would say, X factors in a game like this. He's missed a couple shots already, and now you compound your problems with the misses. You take a look at him trying to chase Spencer. You got to give him a chance to run. You curl him tight and hope that your guy on the ball is helping you.
Johnson! Slamson Johnson! 16-12, Connecticut. Ben Gold is on the floor in the black and blue. Mitchell fouled by Johnson. Ball fake got him in the painted area.
Got to have your head on a swivel, as coaches like to say. Really, the ball pressure there, either on the baseline on the ball or you back way up, and that's a great job on the interior pass, because sometimes when players are defending you and you're taking the ball out of bounds, Tim, all you have to do is step back to create some space as a passer, and that's exactly what happened. Yara to Johnson, beautiful play.
Stevie, who goes by Stewie on his podcast, at the free throw line. He and Cam Jones get together. That's his first point of the afternoon. Reading, Pennsylvania. 40 steals. Tied for first on the team with Kolik. 4th in the Big East. This after coming off a hamstring injury back in December.
Thing I love most about Stevie Mitchell, 4.0 GPA last semester. Come on, man.
Yep.
And also 3 of his last 5 games was in double figures. That helps on the court.
Joplin got his hand into the passing lane. Shot clock down to 10. Diarra working pick and roll to Johnson. Oh, he missed on the reversal. Was right there. Chose to finesse it rather than slam it. Mitchell with a little stop and go. Leaves it for Ben Gold from downtown. Spencer clear.
Ben Gold's one of those guys, too. He creates some interesting situations for bigs of the opponents. He can stretch out.
Well, Caravan out to a shaky start from the perimeter. That aids Marquette, because if he gets going, I mean, it could be lights out in a hurry. Joplin with a baseline blast into traffic. Mitchell ISO counting.
Not only smart in the classroom, but smart on the court as well. He sees everyone cleared out, takes his time. A little big man down low.
Well, he's learned now that, you know, that perimeter game that he struggled with to some extent, it can get better once you go inside. Kessel double, gives it up to Johnson. Kessel under duress. That was a tough shot. Great defense by Marquette.
Beautiful possession defensively. Samson Johnson never turned his shoulders looking at the basket that entire possession.
Kolik turns it over. That was an errant pass. And Spencer will draw the foul on the ball fake.
Well, look, Timmy, you know how I feel.
even with those offensive rebounds, they've not been able to cash in with any trays. So it's amazing that they're holding up against an offense as efficient as UConn's on the road without hitting any threes. They also have committed 5 fouls. This is not as deep a Marquette team as UConn is. So matching them in terms of depth on what could be a long, grinding regular season game on the road might be difficult. They're going to need to defend without fouling the rest of this half.
They seemed a little unsettled, in my opinion, Marquette, to start this game, almost trying to find out what defense UConn might be running. I'm sure they've watched a lot of tape. UConn can run zone if they, at times, just to throw some things off. But I feel like Marquette just, that first 10 minutes or so, wasn't quite settled in. See how they are after that timeout.
Well, you know what? What a smart move by Shaka. Iguodaro's out there clinging back on the floor, and he lets Oso bring it up the floor as a point forward, so to speak.
It's just so, some people say unorthodox. I say unique.
Yep. Danny Ferry, among others from the NBA, have taken a long look at Iguodaro today. Offensive rebound this time for Stewart. And the Seattle Kid gets into the scoring column near and dear to Donnie Marshall's home. 20-18, Connecticut by a deuce.
Well, you get in the game, you want to do something special. And that's exactly what Stewart does right there.
Koenig just in there bruising with the bigs. Couldn't get it to go. Pulled away by Tristan Newton. And he'll pump it. Diarra the long rebound. Lost it. Klingon tried to save it and couldn't. Mitchell rejected by Stewart. That brings them to their feet. Castle! That freshman can take you to the top. Largest lead of 5 for either team. Iguodaro again. Not this time. Look out, Connecticut. Open gates. They love the 94 feet. Pulled down by David Joplin. Marquette looks to slow it down just a bit.
If you're going to weather the storm against UConn, it can't be hoping they miss open shots or turning the ball over.
Joplin just lost sight of where Diarra was.
This is a Shaka Smart team we know doesn't turn the ball over a lot. They value possessions. You can't get loosey-goosey in a game like this against UConn. You just can't.
I think we've got a little debate. It will be UConn's basketball. James Breeding had a better look. And Gaffney relented. And the Huskies have the ball.
I love this. You're a freshman. You get a chance. Shoot the basketball. You get in the game. You go and follow your own shot. You finish with the left. Jalen Stewart, wonderful job. Comes back down after that and gets a blocked shot on defense. Young man out of Garfield High School. Played for Brandon Roy. Really getting an opportunity here late when you want to as a freshman late in the season. Because you know that roster, that rotation has to start to tighten up for every team in the country.
Brandon Roy, what a great guard he was for Lorenzo Romar back in the day at UW. 5 to shoot. Stewart has it knocked away. They got to put it up. Spencer, it grazed the iron, but there's Castle again to Stewart. And it's tapped out of there. Chase Ross chasing it down the floor, and he's fouled. We're just going to call it a common foul. First foul on Newton. And beyond that, the issue, I think, for them is to not get lulled into Connecticut's style of play. That last 2.5-minute period in the last segment of our game was exactly what Connecticut wanted and not what Shaka Smart needs today.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're playing like a guest, like they're the guest of the party. They have to play Marquette like they belong here today and that they have a chance to win because they do.
And on that dribble drive, the foul is spotted underneath against Castle, his first, just the third team foul against Connecticut. You mentioned there were 5 on Marquette. They came in a flurry during that period in which Connecticut got out to this 5-point lead. But for the most part, the whistle has been loose, which is really what you want to see when you've got 2 great teams going at it. Neither team really hitting that often from downtown. Points have really been coming inside the paint. Klingon started that turnover. Castle in traffic. And it's out of bounds to UConn. And again, that inside strength of Connecticut not allowing the offensive rebounds that were there early for this Marquette team.
Interesting lineup for Shaka Smart right now. Marquette has Gold and Iguodaro in the game together. I like this matchup. I think it throws off what UConn has scouted against.
And Spencer. Beautiful isolation and a screen right there, baseline. And the lead has ballooned to 7. This is a 7-0 run now for the defending national champs. And a reach against Castle. A second quickly comes against him. That gets Danny Hurley up.
I'll tell you, if there is a team that runs better out-of-bounds unders, I'd love to know who they are. This is just terrific in terms of weaving, continuous motion, understanding who you're setting it for, and then the pass. Pinpoint, Spencer 2 down low. A thing of beauty.
Iguodaro has his pocket picked by Diarra.
Well, that's Cam Jones. You got to be careful. You got to see what's going on behind.
Indeed. Gold clears it.
You can't throw the ball into a big and not understand what's behind him, because obviously the big has no eyes in the back of his head. You're his eyes as the passer.
He's trying to post up Spencer. Tough take, and he gives it up. Joplin on a give and go and a foul. They're going to tag Spencer with this one. Hurley is beginning to count him up. Doesn't take long for the counting of team fouls to add up, both on the floor and on social media. It's already happening.
I mean, he stepped on the basketball.
He did.
There's contact, but no more than there's been, not even close to what there's been earlier in this game.
Gold. The iron unkind. Here comes Newton the other way. He's not scored as yet. He's been shut down. Now on the switch with Iguodaro. Let's see if he tries to take him. That's just great work by Iguodaro, isn't it?
6'11" on 6'3".
Samson Johnson on a beautiful cut, and no one was there for Marquette.
You think your work is done when you've stopped one player. It's just not a thing against UConn.
Pollock answers. That ends a 9-0 run, and bench points all with the Huskies. They've outscored the Golden Eagles bench.
But there are a lot of teams in there that I would not want to play. That's the next thing we start to talk about. Who's in your bracket? Okay, yes, they're an 8 seed. We do not want any part of them unless we have to. Until we have to. There are a lot of teams in that board like that.
Spencer tapped out by Johnson. And Newton threw it away. I think they're going to say the ball was tipped by Pollock. So Connecticut will control.
That deflection is so important, especially on the road for Marquette. Those deflections, they're disruptors, and we have not seen a lot of those this first half for Marquette.
These teams are really efficient from beyond the arc, Connecticut particularly, but everyone's struggling. Clearly defending the three, getting them off the line was a focal point for both teams in preparation. Spencer trying to run that curl, and there's just no room. Beautiful adjustment, though. He's such a smart player. Came over from Rutgers. He's got 9. Ross. He chases one in from downtown. The first 3 ball of the day for Marquette. 29-24.
They're going to need a few more of those just to keep UConn honest and not continue to pack it in the paint, knowing that Marquette is missing from the outside. 2 of 9 now from 3.
Yeah, and Mitchell with a bump on Newton.
I think you could make an argument when we talk about Big East Player of the Year. Cam Spencer's name should be in that mix.
Oh, yeah.
He's so effective. Obviously, just an intelligent player. Beautiful step through there after you get the bigger Iguodaro up in the air.
I think it's difficult for any UConn player, though, because
absolutely
their stat sheet are so balanced.
Yeah, there's so many guys.
Yeah, Newton hasn't scored yet,
right?
But he's done a lot of other things.
And he's the one we talk about as, he's on a Nate Smith and every other Player of the Year award list.
He does have 4 dimes dropped. As I've said many times, a year ago, about this time, he was considered the liability of this team. Look how far he's come as a point guard. His confidence just grew in last year's NCAA. Diarra up against the clock. Look at that work by Caravan. Newton! He is in the column now. 32-24. 3 and change remaining in the opening half. That one's off the heel for Zayd Lowry just into the game. Caravan on the drive. He's fouled.
They just keep coming downhill at you. Timmy, they never give up in their pursuit to make you uncomfortable.
I'll tell you, at some point, should he be in this? Should he be in the building while we're having practice?
Yeah.
But he got it, and he understood. Sort of shook it off himself.
Well, he said he's with Jay Crowder, who's a teammate there, and obviously a former Marquette player. He's like, all right, if he's with Jay, I guess I can trust him.
You think about this iteration of UConn and how they've handled the loss of Jackson. I think they've done it with 2 players, really. I think the acquisition of Spencer and the emergence of Castle as a freshman have really filled the void left by Andre Jackson as the glue of this team.
Yeah, the only thing that you worry about when you lose a guy like that, one is the energy, but also the leadership.
Well, there's the pick and roll for the first time. Johnson right there for it. Passes it out of the post, and again, nothing doing from downtown as Marquette remains ice cold from beyond the arc. Chase Ross saw that one go crying off the front iron.
I thought he had enough time to check the wind direction and take his time. He looked like he was in a little bit of a hurry when he caught it and let it go.
And this last 2 and change really meaningful to Marquette because the Huskies have opened up their first double-digit lead. And buckets on this end of the floor have been hard to come by.
See, I don't think you want to start chasing those. I thought Iguodaro should have shot that little floater from inside the foul line.
Last field goal they made was him with that play. He brought the ball up the floor out of a timeout. And it was at that stage that they really needed him to make a bucket, and he did. And they've not gone to him since.
Yeah, and as much as I love Joplin's 3, I don't think it's a better shot than Iguodaro from inside the paint at the top there. But you just don't want to start chasing him. I know it's just human nature as a player. You're down double digits. You see you got under 3 minutes to go before you're in the locker room, but can't get it all back in 1 or 2 plays.
First free throw of the day for Newton. We touched on those players lost from the national championship season. Sanogo, Andre, of course, as we mentioned, Joey California. Danny Hurley called him, and of course, Naheem Aline transferred over to Rick Pitino and St. John's. That's a heck of a team to lose, but boy, did he supplement. And the cavalry is coming again next year, too, by the way.
Yeah, and your guys are more mature. Caravan, Klingon. You got some more mature players coming back as well.
The lead is up to a dozen now. Kolek.
Well, you can almost tell that they were only trying to get a 3 on that possession. That was the only play they were looking to run.
Yep. And that's a part of Tyler's game that has improved, but it's certainly not his greatest strength. Diarra Little teardrop, and he's going to pick up a foul. In so doing, Iguodaro.
These are tough plays to defend the floaters, Timmy, because as a defender, you understand when that offensive player shoots a floater, his body, his momentum is coming towards the basket. So if there's any contact, no matter if you're standing straight up, if you don't take a charge, it's going to be a block, as you saw there. But it's a hard shot to defend more and more.
Last year, these teams played 3 times. Marquette got them at home. UConn blew out the Golden Eagles here at home. And then, of course, the semifinal matchup. And Danny Hurley told me today at the shoot-around, he said they just locked us up. We got defended beyond what our expectations were. Marquette was locked and loaded to win both the regular season and the tournament title. Kolek leaves it for Iguodaro. That combination, and he missed that little teardrop that normally falls for him. Clinging again from Spencer. Gamble Pavilion, and that is when they play like this. And during this extended run of 22-6, UConn's been lighting it up on both ends of the floor. They're unstoppable. And if you don't think they can be a dominant program, then you haven't been watching. They certainly can be when they play this way, with this much depth. Another turnover off the double team.
Just a little bit too much with the basketball in one guy's hand. That ball has to pop against UConn. Really good on the ball defensively. They help each other. You can't dribble into them.
What a pass! Dropping dimes. Diarra. Newton. And the lead is up to 18. This is turning into a Connecticut coronation. Cam Jones with a silencer of sorts. 12 assists on 14 field goals now for Connecticut. I think we're getting a little warning here from James Breeding in the aftermath of that bucket.
And this is just basketball players doing what they do. That's not a drawn-up play. It's not a Princeton style, you cut back door. This is one player reading a teammate. After 2 seasons now, they have been on a string, Diarra and Newton. And sometimes not necessarily in that order. Boy, what a show. Some more strength. I mean, this is a Tom Moore, Damani Young, Luke Murray. They've done a wonderful job of staying and kind of being Danny Hurley's balance, but he's trusted them more this season as well.
Danny's coaching college basketball like a PGA Tour player after he wins his first major. Suddenly, the titles come a little easier than they once did.
Yes.
He's so much more comfortable in his own skin. Up against the clock, Spencer with the rock. Gives it up. Caravan is yet to make a 3. There he is, going right back, though, to the baseline. Rejected by Iguodaro. Clinging not in time. Wave it off. Will not count.
Boy, they just keep coming at you. I know the shot clock was short, but making those extra plays, making your teammates better. They call them EGBs, energy generating behavior.
Yep.
They keep stats of this. They're going to need a lot of that shot, those guys, in this second half. And the first 5 to 8 minutes in particular.
Listen to these hustle stats, all right? Courtesy Ethan Peterson. UConn +9 in boards, +7 second chance, +8 in bench, +7 in points off turnovers, +8 in fast break points. Spencer looks for Caravan, and again, he can't get it to fall. He has not made a 3 as yet. That's the only good news, really, for Marquette defensively in that first half. Kessel, tough shot. Clinging, fighting to keep it, but lost it out of bounds. And the Golden Eagles have it. And Kessel has some foul difficulty, and also from a buckets perspective, it's 3 in the game for him, but he and Spencer lit it up early. Kolek, a patented move with a not too typical finish.
Kolek really struggling. UConn's done a nice job against him defensively. what he's done coming into this game. The offensive glass, though, is really a backbreaker.
Yeah.
UConn plus 10 on the glass. Just can't continue to happen. If you're Marquette, you got to give yourselves a chance at one end of the floor or the other.
That's the first rejection of the day for Klingon. Jones, they needed both he and Joplin to shoot it well, and neither have today. They are getting a bit of a break. The Caravan is struggling from downtown, but that has been it. And the chant, "Let's go Huskies," already underway to open the second. Newton against the clock. Look at them fighting for those loose balls. Hustle plays. And Connecticut keeps on grinding. They're going to say tie ball. It will go to Marquette.
Yeah, I really still believe that Klingon staying out of foul trouble. And I know it sounds crazy, but he seems just more versatile. He seems just more free to be able to come out and block shots like that.
Well, it didn't hurt when he left the game that Samson Johnson came in and got a couple of slams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His confidence was outstanding, too. Iguodaro had to change his approach. Now, that's a two-headed monster in terms of the way you're being defended. Joplin working on Kessel. That's going to be a block. Crowd doesn't like it. They felt that shoulder had been dipped. But James Breeding thought otherwise. So it's a block. It goes against Castle. That's his third.
Look, I'm all for the officials trying to clean up parts of the game and trying to tell us 95% of these are going to be blocked, but I still think they're subjective to some extent.
Yeah.
I still can't figure out what a block and a charge is, no matter how much they clean this thing up.
It's a little like pass interference versus offensive pass interference. Yeah. I have to deal with this 3 more months than you do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Joplin really struggling in every aspect today. Talked about the beginning of the game that this is a team that when they lock up defensively and their offense is there, could be Connecticut's kryptonite. They did beat them twice a year ago. Very few teams did, all right? But they've got to get the best offensive games possible out of Joplin and Cam Jones, and today they've not.
Yeah, and Joplin's one of those guys, you hate to put pressure on guys like him, but when he's playing well, they're a completely different team. He's in double figures. They're 12-1.
Yeah, much harder to guard.
Yeah.
Great work by Kolick. Trying to tie him up. Newton. Klingon. Like a magnet to the ball. First player in double figures. Donovan Klingon.
See, that's where Cam Jones has to score. You got the big in the air, try to score. You're not a passer from 3 feet away. That's where that confidence comes in. And talk about confidence. This is just, you're in the playground now. Dribbling from your fanny, and then you throw it to a wide open teammate. And then Klingon was just posted up down there. Right place, right time.
Finally, one falls from downtown for Cam Jones. And the Memphian finally gets one to fall. He had 11 at Butler the other night. I thought that game, and it was tough. It was a grind to win that game at Hinkle. I thought that really helped prepare Marquette for this matchup. We talked to Shaka about that prior to the game. But the Huskies put the clamps down when it was tied at 18 in the first half. Number 1 against number 4. Connecticut trying to get further separation in the Big East. Diarra. Oh, the bank is open on Saturday in the Nutmeg State.
And those are plays where the opposing coach just says, you know what? Nothing we can do about that.
Iguodaro is shocked to get that ball from Joplin. They are really discombobulated. Klingon has a lot to do with it, too. Diarra. Oh, look at Two players lost it. Klingon found it and knew what to do. I don't know that any of these guys know Bootsy Collins.
No, they're probably not.
Probably not. But I'm just going to tell you, Google it. Klingon is tearing the roof off the rim right now for sure. 51-30. Marquette has got to reestablish some poise. I mean, they've got wide eyes right now. As you said, playing like guests. Iguodaro there with the follow.
And that's only because Tyler Kolek, again, you don't want to put the pressure on one guy. But when he gets downhill and he puts the defense in uncomfortable spots, Iguodaro's much better as well. And you turn the corner, help comes, finish. They need more of that. This has to be many games within this half for Marquette.
Yeah, still plenty of time. Newton, by the way, 9 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. And he's fouled there on a hand check by Stevie Mitchell. That's number 3 on him.
They're going to fix the roof, Tim. We'll be right back.
It does need some work, doesn't it? And with the game emerging the way it is, players like Angel Reese at LSU for Kim Mulkey, and of course Caitlin Clark.
Juju Watkins out.
Oh yeah,
man.
Amazing.
Women's college basketball is
taking off.
Phenomenal.
Yep, sure is. Klingon with options. Passes off to Diarra, and he's rejected. Got a little too unselfish that time.
Yeah, I'd like to see him shoot that little floater, half hook in there. Why not?
Kolek again trying to pass it off to Iguodaro in tight quarters, and it's yet another turnover.
It really is the Klingon effect, because even Iguodaro, that ball hit him in the head. You got to know Kolek's coming to you, but because Klingon takes up so much space, even on accident, Klingon takes up a lot of space. He's in your area, and then in that case, he's what we like to say, he's in your kitchen. All up in your head, Klingon.
He was surprised by that pass from Caravan. Yep. Came in there high and hard. Our friend Rob Dibble works in this market. This is home for him. He got a little nasty boys on that.
He's
one.
Down in Florida in the sun. He just texted me. True story.
I was a little taken aback. He didn't call me for his show this week, but he said, "Hey man, I'm in Florida." Shit. Playing in with yet another rebound. Iguodaro stuck his hand in there and created that turnover. Cannot play loose with a big lead against these guys. Jones, air ball. They have not gotten in rhythm at all. And we're talking about one of the best players Marquette has, Cam Jones, and somebody that they absolutely have to get more from offensively if they're going to beat a team like Connecticut. Gold is checked back into the game. Joplin sits down. And Shaka changes that D and decides to give some token full court pressure. Samson Johnson back on the floor to give Klingon the blow.
Now, this is a point of the game where Dan Hurley and his staff, they don't look at the score necessarily. They continue to watch how his guys are playing, how they're playing together, if they're staying within the realm of their offensive sets. It's important. Consistency.
Diarra fouled on the reach. Well, again, a quick look at what this game really does mean. I mean, a Connecticut victory would distance them by 3 games against their nearest opponent, and that would be Marquette. Although they do have another matchup against the Golden Eagles on the road. But that gives them a comfortable last 2 to 3 weeks before going into Madison Square Garden for the Big East tournament. I really thought, and again, you can compare Purdue and Connecticut, but they're not at all the same. And they're not at all the same. They're not built the same. But I do think both the one thing they have in common with Braden Smith and with Lance Jones to go along with Zach Edey, I think they've created the same separation in their league that Connecticut arguably has in its.
Yeah, I agree. And they have those, you know, you mentioned a couple of them, Lawyer as well.
Yep.
Space him out around the good guy.
Jones, the transfer that they picked up from Southern Illinois has made a huge difference defensively.
And he's their Cam Spencer.
Yep, no doubt. And Chase Ross gets one to fall from downtown. Well, this is really an opportunity for them if they can make some threes, because UConn has faltered on this end of the floor for the last 2.5 minutes.
The problem when you get down, one of the problems when you get down to UConn is they're not a fast team in terms of pace. They're not going to play too fast, so it's hard to get more possessions back from them.
Moving picks on Johnson. So again, they've gotten a little sloppy on the offensive end, and Johnson gets his second. So this is your opportunity if you're Marquette. In the old days when they were called Warriors, they need to play a little more like Warriors the rest of the way here. 3 turnovers in the last 4 trips for the Huskies. And there's another bump by Johnson.
And you need to do it when Klingen's on the bench.
Yep.
All due respect to Samson Johnson, he's an athlete. He's a little more versatile, obviously, than Donovan Klingen, but just doesn't bring the same effect in terms of that spatial awareness that Klingen does.
As well as Johnson played when he came in the first half, that was just a careless foul. Yeah, he'll sit down. Klingen gets back in.
Now, those are tough. You got a guy with speed coming at you downhill. Tough for any big.
In traffic, Klingen again. Boy, what a difference he makes, right?
Yeah, you can try it. I love the idea going into his chest.
One extra pass. Connecticut spreads the floor and then comes downhill, and that creates contact inside and a foul.
Now remember, he was on the bench a very short time, but as soon as he gets in the game, Donovan Klingen straight up understands his size, his length, and they always tell you, coaches, challenge the big, challenge the big. Like I said, you can try it. Good job by Klingen, eluding the foul.
Well, they run to it, Newton. Diarra for 3.
Yeah. That's been a big difference for not just him, but this team in general, to have another guy. I mean, he shot in the teens last year from 3. No one would guard him. Now that he can make a couple, I tell you, it's a different complexion for this team when he's on the floor.
Iguodaro right where he wants it. By the way, the play of the hour, you think about it now, the Texas A&M transfer's got all the heat off. He's not expected to do too much, just play a complimentary role. And today, with 12 points, I'd say he's helped Tristan Newton and Kessel and Spencer out quite a bit in the Connecticut backcourt. Great cut by Diarra, right on cue. The lead back to 20. Jones, count it, and a foul. Tough shot, too. With the presence of Klingen, he went high, arcing off the window.
Well, he does so much. We talk about defensively, but Donovan Klingen, the kick out, the extra pass from Caravan, they call him hop. There are going to be games in the near future that could be tight, that could mean another championship, so forth and so on. So that's the focus there. Can't let your guard down no matter what the score is.
As you know, Dan's got a marvelous wife who just had Valentine's Day and is always there with a brown bag at the end of every practice, every shoot around for the players to get some candy. Today, Mrs. Hurley's candy of choice was Hershey Kisses. Share the sugar, share the love. That's what UConn is doing today. She's got a halo, you know that. Spencer from Klingen. 59-40.
There's another one, 17 assists on 21 made field goals for UConn.
Trey Norman in the game for the first time. Iguodaro again short-armed that. No question, Klingen is altering almost everything going on around the baseline.
Just take a look at this nice little action. Klingen, I think it's not talked about enough. Very underrated. And not just as, I think we can stop saying for a big, he shoots free throws well. You know, for a big, he's a good passer. He's just a good passer in general, and you saw it there.
Well, Iguodaro was not ready for that pass. Jones with a bad idea. And that's testimony, I think, that Cam is not himself. Iguodala was not at all prepared for that pass. Klingon got it on the deck, became vulnerable, and Iguodala with the pilfer. Finally, one falls for Stevie Mitchell.
Yeah, but that's Cam Jones. His ego is not easily bruised. Yeah. We know that. Yeah. He's going to shoot an air ball or two, but he's going to make one, and he's going to keep shooting it.
Well, I beg your pardon, that was Cam, and he needed it. He needed a confident look.
And that's what you're right. That's exactly what it was. It was an open look. He wasn't rushed.
Well, he shot it confidently, and he's been anything but today. Spencer, they're going to say it's out of bounds. Will be controlled to Connecticut. Well, they may be talking about a change here. James Breeding has come over to talk to John Gaffney. Marquette's saying it's their ball.
Well, I think the Marquette bench wants a flop on Cam Spencer, which we have not really seen. I have not seen it in all my games this season.
Nor have I. No, you're right.
Especially in that three-point area.
Nor have I.
It was a point of emphasis last year.
That was exactly the motion that Shaka Smart made was a flop. You're absolutely spot on there. It was something we saw called a lot in the opening stages of last season, but not this season. Yeah. And now they're looking to see if the ball hit the rim. They're not going to get the flop call, that's for sure. It did graze the rim. Connecticut does hold on to it. And Newton knows what to do with it.
Just too much space. You stop on screens. You got to keep fighting around that big screen up top, I know, by Klingon, but you just can't give up on it.
Second chance points, 18-4. And another turnover by Jones. Newton wide open. Timeout, Marquette. Listen to the UConn fans. 1 second away from the Final Four. And if you don't think this is one of those years when the Big East could pull off something no one would ever expect, 3 teams in the Final Four, think again. Yeah. Because with the right matchups, the Blue Jays can flourish, along with UConn and Marquette. This has not been a typical Marquette performance today at all. You've not seen their best. For those of you that haven't seen Marquette as much this season as most. Klingon with a foul. Got him with the body. He did reject it, but he got him with the body. That's his first foul of the day.
This is a hard call, too. You know, where does the play stop? Is it with the block, the deflection?
He's so tall, the hip got him in the shoulder on the block.
He did block the ball first. He blocked the shot first, but there was some contact for sure.
They give it to Diarra instead. I'm told they're giving it to Diarra instead of Clean. So the foul was given to Diarra, not to Klingon. I think the crowd thought what we did, that Donovan picked up that foul. Tristan Newton was scoreless. Donnie, I know it seems like a long time ago, but he had not scored in the first 16 minutes. Now he's got 15.
I mean, that's what I mean. That's what your MVP, your player of the year, that's what they do.
Absolutely.
They're never out.
Marquette coming with 2-2-1 pressure. Down by 20. Shaka looking to shake it up any way he can. UConn just built on that 16-point spread they had at halftime. Oh, what a move! A slip and a dime that was beautiful from Hassan Diarra. Norman.
One of the few clean layups Marquette has gotten all day.
Castle Giving it up to Chase Ross. Castle working past Gold, Clingan to clean it up.
And he's not just standing in the paint camping out Clingan. He's so much more mobile this year as well.
Colett can't get a layup to fall.
Well, they've been hard to come by for Marquette today.
And he rushed it just a bit because of the presence of Donovan, who's now 7 of 8 from the floor, 16 points, and he's 2 rebounds away from a double-double. He's got 8. This is another example of the right buttons pushed in the huddle that Danny Hurley had.
Clean it up.
Yep. Diarra against the clock. Cleaning again. Too strong, but a foul. Going to get Joplin, I think, with an arm.
Wow.
He picks up the foul.
Well, the big inside, Donnie Clingan.
At the end of the half, they've just been unstoppable.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of records being broken here in this building by this UConn team. I think you just broke a record by coming on camera and not allowing your play.
I don't know why they moved away from you. Yeah, I had no idea.
We're out of time. There's a game happening.
Well, I'm thinking Cleveland he had 10 seconds before he could have stayed on. I got to talk to the Directors Guild. But no, truthfully, this is an unbelievably talented Marquette team.
It really is.
Been dismantled today.
Coming into a game like today, Dan Hurley said, yes, it's about X's and O's, but it's also culture versus great culture.
Yep.
You know, it really is a culture game, and no matter what happens on that scoreboard at the end of the game, there's no denying that Marquette's culture is far and above where I think anyone thought it would be before they hired Shaka Smart.
In traffic. Once again, the block out by Samson Johnson. Strong that time. Iguodaro not able to get anywhere close to that.
I think that was a shot clock violation on you, actually.
Hey, I've given you a record number of layouts today, and you did not take advantage. Spencer, that was a beautiful play defensively to get in there by Cam Jones. Knocked that one away. 6 minutes left. Let's see if Marquette can offer any area of offensive improvement, but it's not to be for Joplin today. Samson Johnson has his pocket picked. Outlet to Joplin. Spencer's with him. Oh, he almost, in trying to save the ball, he almost knocked it in. And he's still on the deck. Spencer's on the other end of the floor. It's 5-on-4 here for Caravan. Carabingo, bingo, bongo. Joplin went down.
And just a live ball, no foul, but
it was a good no call.
Kind of the way the game's been going.
Yep.
Numbers 5-on-4. UConn knocks down a 3.
Well, Iguodaro finally gets one close enough to the rim to jam, and he did in frustration.
See, that's what we saw more of against Butler, jumping the basketball. Not as many ball handlers for Butler. That's when Marquette was really good, getting the ball out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
They just haven't had the opportunity to do that. Jump the ball, not necessarily trap, but just get the ball out of guys' hands.
Another great pass from Newton inside. 22 assists today. That's 70 in their last 3 games for Connecticut. Jones skying for the rebound. Newton again. It's just a bounce in Connecticut's step. And Marquette's shoulders are slumping as they continue to share it. And share it. Spencer. The lead is to 29. Of approval by this UConn crowd is evident, and it's been nonstop.
Building has been on fire today. finish like pros, be sportsmanlike. We will meet again, and they will meet again.
Oh, yes, they will. Yes, they will. This is just the first of 3 that they've got between now. One would think that they would meet up in the tournament. Marquette will fall into second, 3 games behind in the aftermath of this game in the standings of the regular season. As they stand right now, and remember, Creighton is beginning to play like Creighton of old, but they will only have a 1-game lead on Creighton as Iguodaro gets that beautiful lob from Kolek. We just have not seen the best of the pick-and-roll version of those two.
And that's how they started the game, Tim, if you remember. That's exactly how they started the game, clinging in no man's land, and then they just, it was either stopped or they went away from it.
Game was tied at 18 for those of you that just joined us. And then in the last 10 minutes of the first half, it was a 24-8 blitzkrieg to give UConn a 16-point edge at the break, and they never looked back. You know, how deep is UConn? Think about it. Castle and Carabine a combined 2 out of 14. Castle and Carabine combined 2 of 14 today, and yet here they are, almost up by 30.
Well, when you talk to scouts around the league, that's what they talk about. Who are you going to stop? Stop 2? There's 2 more that can hurt you.
Standing ovation for Spencer and Newton as they check out. Creighton is coming up next. In a huge matchup against Villanova next week at Gamble. Nice little scoop to the hoop by Norman, the Bostonian, by way of Worcester Academy.
I think it's important, you know, for coaches to make sure they punctuate the fact that it's 1 game. We have some things we have to clean up, and you and I, talking to Chaka Smart before this game, said, you know, you learn a lot from your losses. We learn a lot about ourselves from our losses, more than probably in wins, and this is another one of those games where if you're not winning, you're learning.
Solomon Ball is checked into the game to operate at the point for Connecticut. Here's Iguodaro isolated against Samson Johnson. Everything being so contested, and he's been out of rhythm all day, and having to deal with those adjustments when Johnson's on the floor versus Klingon adds to that frustration. Count it. Solomon can ball too.
There was a time when Solo Ball was starting.
Yep.
Some injuries had happened, and he comes right in off the bench, knocks one down.
I mean, that's almost an embarrassment of pieces, right? In terms of your depth when you see that. 25 bench points. There you see the remaining season schedule for Marquette. That'll be an outstanding game. It could be very meaningful against Creighton on March the 2nd. Samson Johnson is out with 5. He'll get a nice round of applause. Diarra checks out. Yusuf Singer is checked in. 24 for Connecticut here in the last minute 14. Apostolos Rumoglu is also out there for the first time. Number 33, the youngster from Greece. 6'8" sophomore, number 33. Everybody going to get in the box score today. Well, did I see the Hurley kid? I'm looking. Maybe Danny wants him to chant for him.
Yeah.
Andrew Hurley.
Oh, it's tough when you bring in 5 freshmen. You want to give them time too.
Yeah. You don't have a 1 versus 4 matchup in the same league that often.
No.
And this was a much anticipated game. We thought it would be a monster matchup. But at that point, at 18 all, after Iguodala made that teardrop. They were dominated, and the inability to make shots from deep early, I think, caught up with him, and then Klingon just began to dominate inside.
Yeah, he continues to be a difference maker. You know, when he was out with that foot injury, really took care of his fitness as much as he could, lost some weight. And I think it's showing right now in his play, not just the length of time he's playing Klingon, but how he's playing in those minutes on the floor. He's sharp, he's bouncy, and active.
Lamadou setting that pick. Norman gets the ball fake and then throws up an air ball. I want to thank our crew today, our producer, Max Leinwald, along with our director, Tyler Dare, associate director, Paul Mamaho, along with broadcast associate, Josh Franz, and technical director, Paul Harvath. Job well done, gentlemen. And Danny Hurley has a lot of respect for Shaka Smart, and they embrace at midcourt, knowing full well they too will meet again, and maybe
soon
again. Heck of a performance by UConn. I'd say they're #1 with a bullet. Enjoyed it, partner.